All right, welcome in. It is Saturday. Time for Total Bases. An hour later than usual, so we can go ahead of last call. And of course, it's Saturday. So Friday night, we're up late watching games. Not that we don't do that every night, but last night I was just joking off air. My game was kind of late. I didn't have one of the true West Coast games. Once my action ended, I was like, you know what? I got to get up early tomorrow. I'm gonna turn it off. And I turned the Angels game off, and it was 11-4. And I was like feeling pretty good that we were gonna hit the parlay. Of course, the other two legs that we had just the Cardinals, Royals got over, the Yankees won easily. And somehow I woke up this morning ready to count that win, calculate what we won, and they lost the game 12-11. Went back and rewatched some of it this morning. That is a tough way for the parlay to go down, but it was a great night for us. I cashed my 5% with the Rockies plus 1.5. Bryan Leonard gets there easily with the over in the Twins Diamondbacks game, and Tokyo Brandon has a great night on the bases as well. I believe a 3-0 sweep. So a solid night. We're going to try to hit a parlay today. I don't know how much closer we can get without actually hitting one than yesterday, but we want to win them all. The goal is always to win them all. If we can win most of them, we can at least live with that. So, Bryan Leonard, great call on that total. You said you don't have many 5% totals. You found a no-doubter right there. So, great call on that. And how'd the rest of your night go?
Well, everything was good except that Angels thing. I put it in the back of my head when they were up by 7 runs, and that was my parlay on the show yesterday. And, yeah, other than that, everything else worked pretty good. You know, some days you look at the card and you can't find anything. Other days you look and everything that you would have played would have won. And that pretty much was us yesterday. We had a good feel of the card yesterday. So we could have actually expanded our plays and probably had a pretty good day. But we love that 5% play, and it worked out well. And we all did really well yesterday. So really excited. And hopefully we can get you some big winners today on Saturday.
Tokyo Brandon, a sweep for you last night. You won again this morning. I know it's nighttime for you in the KBO. So, yeah, what do you have going on the site today?
Yeah, on an 8-1 overall run right now, but none of them were 5%ers like you guys. So, but we're all doing pretty good right now. Right now, I have one play out in MLB. And I'm going to have a play out in the KBO later on for late night or early morning, however you want to look at it. And I've put some resources out on my Twitter X for pitching matchups and things like that today. So go check that out. One play in MLB so far, might put another one out.
Tokyo Brandon, I'll tell you what. I think your 5%er would have won if it didn't get rained out, because Martin Perez went out and pitched good enough to beat Mizorowski yesterday. So we'll just operate under the assumption that if your play didn't get rained out, it would have won because, of course, you had the Braves for a 5%er on Thursday. Game gets rained out. If you're wondering where some of these series keep going as we go into our feature game, Phillies Mets did not play yesterday. Cardinals Royals do not play tonight. Basically, if a city is hosting a big World Cup game, it seems like the MLB has already planned in these days off. So we go 14 games again today. Cardinals, Royals will take the day off because, of course, the World Cup is in Kansas City, but we get back Phillies Mets. So, Bryan, I'll come to you. This is going to be our feature game on Fox tonight. Phillies Mets had the day off yesterday, having to now rack my brain and go all the way back to Thursday to try to remember what happened in this series. Which I will do right now. And that was, of course, it was a Mets 6-4 win. That's right. The Mets did get that win. Going to be tougher for them to do it today. Christopher Sanchez on the mound for the home team. How are you seeing Mets Phillies?
Yeah, having that day off helps both of the bullpens, which should come into effect today. Since we're doing the show an hour later today, I was able to get up 3 plays for clients today. So we've got 3 plays. We've got one afternoon and we got 2 on the nighttime card. So it's a great day to get the specials. A lot of great specials out there for us right now, and look into that. It's better than having to pay the $35 for one day. Just get the 3-day package, or buy 3 get 3, whatever they've got going. Some great deals out there for all of us. Freddie Peralta and Christopher Sanchez the lefty. We're looking at basically about a 180, 185 favorite on Sanchez against Peralta and the Mets. I prefer Sanchez, but the line keeps me away from it. From a talent standpoint, the Mets should not be this big of an underdog to anybody from a talent standpoint. Problem is they haven't played up to their talent this year. The Mets offense is struggling, although Lindor is now he should be back by the end of the week. They're sending him out on some minor league games, and that'll be a big help. Not only that, because he plays a key position, but he's also one of the team leaders for the Mets. And I would expect the Mets to go on a little bit of a run, knock on wood, until they lose somebody else by injury. But getting him back is going to definitely help this Mets offense. Philadelphia, to lay this kind of number, I want a team that's a better hitting team than what Philadelphia is. Philadelphia is a club right now that, once in a while they get a home run, but other than that, they're not finding ways to move the runners and score. So that's not a team I'm looking to back in that regard. If you do like Philadelphia, maybe you play the Mets team total under, something to that effect. I do like Philadelphia a little bit, but I can't lay that 185 or whatever that's out there right now.
Yeah, Lindor should be in Binghamton, New York tonight. It is my plan to be at the game. So if you are in the Binghamton, New York area and you want to go, hit me up. That's kind of like, I love meeting you guys. I got a couple people coming down to the Richmond game next week when I'm down there. So if you're, not that I expect many people to be in the Binghamton, New York area. There is not much out there. Sorry for Binghamton catching a stray on the show, but yeah, if you're in the area, I'm probably going to go see Lindor play for the Rumble Ponies tonight. Someone's like Trig drinking a Miller Lite. No, this is a Diet Coke right here. Diet Coke. My drug of choice. I've tried to give up the soda, and I just love Diet Coke. I can't help it. Every once in a while, I got to mix
Diet Coke. There's something wrong with you.
I love it. I can't give it up. Got to mix one in every once in a while. I've cut back considerably. Tokyo Brandon, jump in here. Mets, Phillies.
I love Diet Coke too. I drink like 2 bottles a day. So yeah, I love it too. Guys, you can get a double play. 2 of us 3 cappers, 3 days, huge discount. And if you only like one of us, you can get 3 days for 30% off, or you can get 6 days for the price of 3. Tons of deals on WagerTalk. All 3 of us winning almost all the time. So we are pretty good guys to back. So grab one of those specials out there. I agree with Bryan. I like both of these starting pitchers actually, but out of 250 starting pitchers, I have Christopher Sanchez ranked number 1. That's pretty impressive. I have him ranked higher than Mizrowski. And it's not a personal opinion or anything. It's just straight up data. But if I look at the lineups, like Bryan said, neither one of these teams is really tearing the cover off the ball. I have them both ranked right around 14, which is extremely mediocre in current form. And one thing I like is Peralta's numbers against these Phillies. Amazing numbers. 84 at-bats against, a 155 average and a 661 OPS. So I'm expecting a very low score here. Whether, I just looked before the show. The Phillies team total for the first 5 is 2.5. I think that's really high. I don't think Peralta is going to give them 3 runs in the first 5 innings. So that might be one way to go. Haven't decided how I'm going to go, but definitely some kind of under somehow.
Man, I feel like this spot has come up 5 times in the past month or so. The Mets win a couple games. Here I am thinking this is finally where they turn the corner. And this is the game that they have lost every single time. It's why they're still 7 games under 500. Every time they get to this point where they win 2 games, they kind of look good. That was, of course, Thursday, getting the 6-4 win. Comes after, a 9-1 win over Cincinnati, which in the grand scheme of things is not that impressive since they dropped. That was to avoid a sweep. So they salvaged one against the Reds in the prior series. This is always where I want to jump in with the Mets, and this is the game that they have lost. I mean, I'm just going off of back-to-back wins against the Mariners and the Padres. They lose the next one. A couple wins, again, They seem to like salvage and not get swept, win the first game of the next series, and then they lose. It's happened like 3 or 4 times in a row. However, I just think like this line is just too big. Like, I mean, Christopher Sanchez having a fantastic season. Can't take that away from him. He's a great pitcher. But the Mets, on paper, they should be able to hit. Now, it doesn't help that one of their best players is in rehab mode down in Double-A tonight. He's not going to be with the team, hasn't been with the team in Lindor. But you look at this Mets lineup, you expect that like this lineup should be able to generate offense against just about anyone. They've underachieved like crazy this year. But this is kind of like similar thought process to Braves Brewers yesterday, where it's like, I think Peralta's good enough to at least match Sanchez. Like Freddie Peralta for 5-6 innings can at least hang. And you get to the later innings, like I don't mind the Mets bullpen. This is still a pretty good unit. Still, in my opinion, a top 10 bullpen unit in Major League Baseball. So I really want to find a way to play the Mets. I think the books did a really good job putting that +1.5 at -135. It's like just out of my range of what I would be willing to lay. If the Phillies take money throughout the day and I can get like a Mets +1.5, closer to -120 or -125, I might be in. For now, that is the way I lean, and I'm gonna hold on to that. It might be in the parlay by the end of the show, but I want to talk about a couple other games. But it's Mets or pass for me. I think this number is like 40 cents off on the money line. I still think the Mets are just undervalued. They might just suck though. They really might. Like you can only call a team undervalued for so long. I think I said this about a week ago. It is June 20th. Bryan Leonard, at some point, they are what they are in the season. The Mets might be the toughest one to figure out from that lens this year.
Yeah, there's been many times this year where you've been wanting to get on the Mets, and I understand your thought process, but until they show it for an extended period of time, I'm not getting involved with them.
All right, let's go to the chat. Tokyo Brandon, you can kick this one off. This is Richie Action 247 24/7, probably what that's for. He says, proverbial first day of the game. Yeah, this is a standalone game in the afternoon slot, at least for a little while. I think like maybe the Cubs start after them. It's one of the early games. Actually, there's 2 games in the slot. The first one is Tigers, White Sox. It's going to be Troy Melton, I believe, for the Tigers. And we've got John Cannon fresh up from AAA Charlotte, where he's been for the last at least month and a half. For the White Sox, maybe an opener. How are you seeing White Sox Tigers?
Yeah, if you guys have heard me in past shows, I really don't like X factors, and we have a lot of X factors in this game. Melton's pitched well. I don't know much about Newcomb though, and neither lineup's hitting very well. I have both lineups bottom 1/3, ranked 21 out of 30. Both bullpens are mediocre to above average. So if anything, I would think an under here, but I just don't know enough about the pitchers and don't know really what to expect about the pitchers. So I will probably lay off of this one. Short and sweet.
Yeah, Brian, I mean, I think Newcomb is probably an opener. You're probably looking at bulk from someone. I think they brought Cannon up, or they intend to bring him up, so he could be the bulk guy, but it's always kind of subject to change. That being said, the White Sox have kind of done this quite a bit this year, where they open, and then whoever that starter is typically goes a few innings. Last night they did it with Eric Fetty, and so I don't think it's going to be anything different today. So White Sox Tigers to you. How are you seeing this one?
If memory serves me correctly, I believe day games in Detroit tend to go under. I don't know the numbers I had offhand, but I believe they do. Problem is, Melton has looked pretty good so far, but if you look at his advanced stats, he's been a little bit lucky. Newcomb, I don't want to bet on a pitcher named Newcomb. He could blow up your bet right there. But no, in actuality, he's a lefty, and he'll probably pitch a couple innings here. But then, they need to follow up a Newcomb with a Cannon, And Cannon could cause enough damage as it was. I know he was highly touted by them, but he hasn't really looked that great in the pros so far. But other than the names, I would prefer to play the under here, but 8.5 with these guys makes a lot of sense to me. Just saw one of the sharper books just go to 9 to the under. So some money's coming in on the over here, but it's a good pitcher's ballpark, and they've had more unders than overs here in these afternoon games. So I'm a little bit torn here, so I don't think I'm going to get on it.
Yeah,
I think right now I don't trust the White Sox bats like I did a couple of weeks ago. They're struggling in that regard. Detroit's a team that I think has some betting value. But if I play it, I'm playing Detroit, but I don't think I'm going to get there.
Yeah, so I just double checked. So it will not be Jonathan Cannon. Charlotte used him last night. So I had to double check that. Charlotte used him as the starter last night. He went 6 innings. So I don't think we actually know what the bulk plan is for the White Sox here. I don't know if it's going to be a traditional bullpen game for the White Sox. That becomes an X factor a bit, TB. Like that, what you're saying when you really don't know. Oftentimes now it's become the norm for us to see openers, and typically who's going to start. The only reason I had that off the top of my head is because I know who's going to pitch at the AAA level, and I thought today was Cannon's turn. It turned out that they threw him last night in Charlotte Buffalo. So as of right now, I really don't know who's coming in after Newcomb. That being said, I too like Melton, Bryan. So I'm almost like, if this is true bullpen game against Melton and the Tigers right here, I think I'm if I'm just picking the winner, I'll take Melton. I'll take the Tigers at home. Even with Gleyber out, I still think they started to turn the corner a little bit, found a way to win a game last night that they maybe, Scuba wasn't at his best. They trailed for a lot of that game, yet they still found a way. But that's the price here is what puts me off. I feel like this is a tad expensive for the Tigers, so I'm just going to be out for that reason. If you want me to pick a winner, I'll say Tigers. Reluctantly, I'll say Tigers. Go ahead, Bryan.
Yeah, from the White Sox bullpen standpoint, Brandon Eisert was the starter yesterday. He was put in late, and he threw 32 pitches. But other than that, the bullpen's in pretty good shape. The day before, Brian Hudson started. He pitched 27 pitches. So in reality, the bullpen for the White Sox is in pretty good shape. So it would be a good day for the bullpen if you trust the Chicago bullpen.
Yeah, and if you trust the Chicago bullpen and you like Melton, which I would say relative to market, I've kind of always been higher on him than the market. Joe Rock would make sense because I think Joe Rock would have been the guy if he didn't start last night. It's his turn. I mean, here's the deal. Like, I don't know. Joe Rock and Jonathan Cannon rate out. It's pretty similar right now. So I don't. You're splitting hairs there probably. It doesn't really change my opinion. I think slight lean Melton. But Bryan, if you think the White Sox bullpen is fresh and that's your angle, you could go with an under here. Probably not many runs in this game.
Well, there's somebody that likes the over, as I mentioned. A sharp book went to 9. Now they're 9 across the board. Everybody hit it. So somebody out there likes the over here. I kind of prefer the under, but not enough to get involved.
All right, we're going to find something to get involved in. Tokyo Brandon, back to you. Of course, I'll quickly promote. The three of us all had a great night last night. Double play package up on the site. You can get 2 of the 3 handicappers on your screen, but there's also some really good June specials for your preferred capper. I got to be honest. I mean, maybe I'm a little bit biased because I hang out with you guys on here 6 days a week. If you're looking for Major League Baseball picks, I think this is the trio that you should be looking at on the website. And we've made it very easy to get a discount no matter how you sort of go about it. So take a look at all of our pages for plays. I'll have something up shortly. The other guys have something up already. We're going to have another great day today. Okay, Tokyo Brandon, over to you. Brewers, Braves. I read the comments yesterday, and as soon as I realized that the entire chat section gave the Braves 0 chance to win that game, I started to like the Braves. I'm actually kicking myself. I was real close to that Braves plus 1.5, and they didn't even need it. The Braves find a way to get it done. Coming back today, obviously going to be only gets easier once you beat Jacob Mizorowski, it only gets easier. That being said, Kyle Harrison's had a great season as well. Kyle Harrison, Chris Sale, Brewers Braves to you.
Yeah, Chris Sale is a special guy going into the later years of his career, but he's still special. And Harrison's having a great season, but Harrison has a pretty big discrepancy between his home and road stats. At home, he's got an under 2 ERA, and on the road, he's got a 4+ ERA. Against these Braves, the sample size is a little too small to make a judgment, but he does have good stats from what he's seen of them. And Sale, of course, is Sale. He has pretty good stats against these guys as well. The Brewers are hitting a lot better than the Braves right now. I got the Brewers ranked 8 and I got the Braves ranked 26. And you're going to say, oh, what about yesterday? But I don't look at yesterday because I don't want to have recency bias. What these teams have done in the last 7 to 10 to 14 days is more indicative of what they are rather than what they did yesterday. And even when the Braves are winning, they're only scoring like 3 or 4 runs. So that for some reason they're in a bit of a quagmire right now. And you could say the same for the Brewers because of yesterday's game. But like I said, if you look at how they've been acting the last week, I mean, do you want someone to judge you by how you were acting yesterday, or do you want someone to judge you by how you were acting this week, right? So unless you did something really nice yesterday. But the point is, yesterday doesn't really matter that much. So I got the Brewers hitting better. I got the pitchers both kind of negligible here, and I got the bullpens neck and neck. I actually have the bullpens both 10.3 out of 30. So they're both exactly neck and neck. I give the Brewers a little bit of a chance here. I love Chris Sale. I have him ranked 16 out of 250 pitchers, but I mean, Harrison's nothing to sneeze at, and Sale is 8-5. If he's that good, why did he lose 5 games? Got to ask yourself. I give the Brewers a shot here. I think they have a chance here on the money line.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a case-by-case basis. Like, Atlanta just got Drake Baldwin back. Like, that matters. Like, they're better than they were 7 days ago. Just the second he walks through the door, they get better than they were 7 days ago. Like, he's huge for them. I actually shout out to props to the Braves. They really didn't miss a beat without him. I kind of think I said as soon as he went on the IL that they might start to that was like the point where I thought that their lineup would regress, because I felt like they were due some regression. Then they lose arguably their best hitter or one of their best hitters, and they kind of weathered the storm pretty nicely. Now they get him back. Really good baseball team. But the point you made that I do agree with, Tokyo Brandon, is Kyle Harrison, very solid. Bryan Leonard was there for most of the runs he's given up on the road this year. They were all at Las Vegas ballpark. If I'm Kyle Harrison, I'm petitioning the league to get that out of my stats. Like, because that's almost
8 runs in that game, and he hasn't given up more than like 2 in 8 other starts, right? It's crazy.
Well, the reason for that too, he's an extreme fly ball pitcher. Gets a lot of outs via the fly ball. That was not a good scenario for him. Truist Park's not going to play like that, not nearly as much. So Kyle Harrison's been great this year too. Really good pitching matchup. Bryan Leonard, how do you see this one?
Yeah, I was going to mention that as well. Harrison, he came into that game and he left with his ERA a full run higher. They were able to get to him, and it was funny because he was by far the best pitcher on the mound during that series, and yet he was the one that got crushed. Some of the other guys you didn't expect much out of, pitch better. But hey, anything can happen on a small sample size. And I got a kick out of Tokyo Brandon saying, "Don't pay any attention to yesterday," after we've been bragging about how well we did yesterday. So I thought that was kind of funny.
I'm talking about players, not cappers.
Yeah, I know. I'm just playing. But I like it when I like backing lefties, because they only pitch about 30% of the games in Major League Baseball. Some teams don't see lefties sometimes for a week. And we've got 2 elite lefties going here. We've got Henderson and Sale. And the current line's about a 130 for Sale at home with a total of 7. Not only do we have 2 elite left-handers, we also have 2 of the best bullpens, as was mentioned. And I love both these bullpens. So if I'm looking for this game, I'm looking for an under. I'm either going to play the first half under, or I'm going to play the game under. And that's the way I am going to approach this game. Atlanta, as was pointed out, they're not hitting as well. And while they did bring back their catcher, Michael Harris, who has been having a really solid season, hasn't played in the last 2 days. And I've read some things saying he may be out for a while. So that's going to hurt them again. They keep losing these guys. They've lost, obviously Acuna a couple times. So, this is a team that is finding ways to win. And that's the kind of team you want to back. But at this point, I think the under is the way to go. I'm going to play this under the 7.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm sure under 7.5 is juiced pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the under 7 is -105, my guess is you're going to have to pay a pretty penny to get under 7.5 here.
30 and 35.
Yeah, that's a lot. That being said, only way I could play it, I'm actually finding myself agreeing with the chat. Pretty much everyone's like, well, Harrison's really good too. Well, Sale's really good too. Yeah, I kind of look at these guys side by side, not really dying to play against either of them.
Mm-hmm.
Both have really like elite metrics across the board. I was hoping for when I pulled up the odds, I was hoping that the Brewers and the Braves collectively would get enough respect by being really good teams that they would have thrown a 7.5 out there. They didn't do that. It's 7 flat. That being said, they are kind of, I disagree with the reduced juice on the under. Like 7.5, I think that should be flipped. Like, I think set under 7 should be juiced, not the other way around, in my opinion, for these two. Now, we've talked about this many, many times. There is a massive, massive difference between 7 and 7.5. If you could have gotten like under 7.5 -125 here, I would say bet that. That's fine. My numbers right now on this one come out 7 on the dot. That's what it's coming. That's where I'm at, 7 on the dot for these two teams. But I'd almost be willing to just be like, one of them probably dominates, and like, maybe you get a 5-1 or something like that. I think they did. I think the books did an okay job, but like under 7 -105, I think you could take a shot there. I don't dislike that. And you're going to push if you land 7, which kind of sucks, but that's how it's the only way I could play it. Under 7.5 or under 7. I don't condone laying -135 for a half run on a total.
If it was 25, I would agree with you. I would rather have the 25 as opposed to the -5. I would give the 20 cents, but anything more than that, I'm not. It's usually worth 18 cents, something in that range, depending on what number it is. I would be fine laying the 20 cents more, but there's not many 25s. All right, here we go. Ralph Michaels stopping in. Let me put on there.
All right, guys, my guest appearance for the day. Hello, everyone. In the last 3 years, guys, there's been 730 games with a total of 7. 106 or 14.5% have been pushes. So that gives you to quantify between the 7 or 7.5.
14.5%. Okay. And by the way, while I'm here, somebody was asking if we get Ralph on here for a Yerfie or a Nerfie. We hit ours yesterday. We had the Twins to score in the first inning. He says that Texas has won 5 straight and 9 out of the last 10. In the first inning, they've scored 9 out of the last 10 times, and they're 12-1 on the yeses when they're playing at home. So Texas, it's a good pitcher's ballpark, but they seem to come out in the first inning and score a run.
Let's stay on that game, Brian. Yeah. Once a show. Let's stay on that game. Rangers Padres. The Padres are team. Tokyo Brandon and I kind of joke about this team. We can never get this team right. I would say that's continued on into that Cardinal series. I mean, I guess if you come on and say you like them every day, that at some point you're going to get one right. They did win the finale of that series. Now they are on the road at Texas. Something I did get right for my clients on Thursday was going against this Rangers team when they got destroyed by the Twins. That was one of the Yerfies we talked about on the show as well. The Twins put up a 4 spot in the first inning. So Brian, I'll come back to you. Walker Buehler, Nathan Eovaldi, Padres, Rangers. How you seeing this one?
Yeah, I like this game as well. Buehler, Eovaldi, both righties pitching in. Like I said, Texas has got some lower scoring game. I think most of those are night games. If I remember offhand, they're better at night to the unders than they are during the day. But Buehler against Eovaldi. Buehler's a guy I've been back. I think I backed him last 2 out of the last 3 times he's pitched, and he's pitched much better as of late. Struggled early, came back from the injury, but he's pitching really well right now. And I'm not enamored with the Texas bats. Obviously, their shortstop's not there right now. They've got some guys in that lineup that I'm not overly excited from an offensive standpoint. San Diego has been up and down offensively. One day they'll score 8 runs. The next day they get shut out. So I'm not overly impressed with them. In fact, lately their hottest hitter has been the first baseman, who has not been very good all season long. So maybe he's coming out of it, and he does have some power that'll help. But Eovaldi, when he pitches at home, he's had terrific records since he's been in Texas. And so I think I'm expecting another lower scoring game here. We're getting the total of 7.5. I love the starters. I love the San Diego bullpen. And Texas, I'm not enamored with the Texas bullpen, but the guys they've got pitching late in the game, the 8th and 9th inning, they pitch very well. So this is another game where I think it'll be a lower scoring affair. Buehler and Eovaldi, you're at 7.5, -110, -120, 10.5 most of the places. But I prefer this to be a lower scoring game. And I would not have a problem with maybe a Texas team total under, because I really like the way Buehler is playing right now, and I don't really like the Texas offense. So different ways to approach this.
Yeah, I was just kind of going through my numbers and pulled up Walker Buehler. So yesterday on the show, I said, when guys start to near that 300 expected batting average against, that's where it's low. It's almost like those guys, Tokyo Brandon, start to become auto. Like you got to look to fade them. And the one we talked about yesterday was surprising to me because of the surface numbers, but that was Mike McGreevy. Now, if you faded McGreevy yesterday, you did okay. The Royals won that game. McGreevy got blown up. Maybe not as pronounced, because I don't know that he's getting the credit McGreevy gets. Walker Buehler's kind of close to that line as well. I think he's at a 280, expected batting average against. So I kind of want to fade Walker Buehler, but like you, the Padres have been a little bit of a kryptonite for me. So Padres, Rangers to you, do you see it the same way, or how are you looking at this one?
First of all, get a double play, guys. 2 of us, 3 for 3 days. People complaining in the comments that we promote too much, so I'm going to do it more. 30% off, or huge discount for 3 days for 2 of us, guys. So grab that if you didn't grab Bryan and Adam yesterday. I don't like Walker Buehler at all. I haven't liked him for a long time. And I like him less this season, although he has great stats against these batters he's facing. I think he probably compiled most of those stats 10 to 14 years ago. And Eovaldi is a guy who was elite last year, but he's kind of dropped a little bit this year. Yeah, his whip is shiny 117. That's pretty nice looking. But the eye test, he's something's a little off with his game. Both of these bullpens got worked yesterday, so I think 7.5 seems really low to me. I don't like either bullpen to start with, and now after all that work yesterday, 7.5 for these 2 teams seems really low. Both teams have some serious power in the lineup. So if I were to bet it, I'd go that way. But again, the Padres are a team that I hate betting. Padres and the Mariners, I'm probably not going to bet either one of the games themselves are auto fades for me right now. So I think over 7.5 would probably be a decent bet.
Yeah, I'm just gonna give you something to sort of quantify that 300 mark for expected batting average. So 300 expected batting average is pretty much the worst that you're going to find in big league baseball. Like, there aren't many people there aren't many people worse than a 300 expected batting average. I will read you off the guys that, because it's a very short list, the guys that have a worse than 300 expected batting average in MLB this year. It's Zach Gallen, Nick Lodolo, which we won't count because he hasn't really had enough innings. So Zach Gallen, who's actually on the card today. We could talk about him in a second if you want. Bryan Bello, who just got sent down. Merrill Kelly, who we've all decided has just been a throwing batting practice this year. Taijuan Walker, who pitched his way out of the league a minute ago. Think he's just popped up in AAA for the Angels, now throwing BP for Salt Lake. Grayson Rodriguez, who's had a rough go of it since coming back, and Tomo Sugano. I mean, those are the only ones that are worse than 300 expected batting average. So even though he's not quite there at 270, like that 277 to like 290 range, I think that's still pretty like solid fade material for me. For that reason, I could only go with the Rangers. I don't know if it'll make my card a little bit pricier than I would hope for, but that is a pretty good indication of a guy that I think you want to play, what you want to play against. And I know, like Chuck, I see, like, Buehler's been better of late. Eovaldi's given up some in the past few games. Give me Eovaldi over Walker Buehler 7 days a week. Like, I just think, go ahead, Brian.
Yeah. In defense of Walker Buehler, according to Fangraphs, the roster resource page, he's the 85th best starter, as opposed to Michael King is 59. And then you take a look at the rest of their starting staff, they're all much worse. And as for the bullpen, keep in mind there was a big game in soccer in Dallas or whatever. So they didn't play on Thursday. So you got an extra day of the bullpen. In fact, yesterday, the only quality arm out of the bullpen that San Diego used was Jason Adam for 11 pitches. Matsui pitched 34. So the guys that you normally pitched your 5th, 6th, 7th innings, those are the only guys that got used yesterday. So I'm not concerned with the back of the bullpen. Miller hasn't pitched in 5 days. Marjan's only pitched once in 5 days. So not concerned with the bullpen for San Diego here.
Tokyo Brandon, I'm coming to you. Do you want to kick off the parlay for us? Because we need to start locking plays in.
Yeah, we do. I'm gonna cheat again, as I usually do. I'm gonna take the Pirates on the money line. I'm gonna back Skeens here against the Rockies. He's got really good numbers. If you look at his history against them, he's got a 384 OPS, and Pirates are just a better team. So give me the Pirates on the money line for my parlay leg. It's minus 205, I think. Again, guys, before you smoke me, the parlays are just things we throw out for a fun thing. I'm not actually giving my clients minus 205 plays. So don't, spare me the lecture.
Well, I definitely want to talk about this game. I think this is very interesting handicap because TB, you're probably like, oh, Trig's going to come push right back on me with the Rockies here because he's kind of been on this team. I played this game last night. Rockies plus 1.5 was my 5% play. Would I bet the Pirates at this price in their current state? No, I don't want to. But do I think the Rockies are a good bet here? Absolutely not. Like that's where I'm at with this one. I thought that this was like, you're obviously going to pay for Skeens. We know that. We know you're going to pay for Skeens at this point. I am kind of with you here, Tokyo Brandon. I don't see the Pirates losing this one. They lost last night. The Rockies kind of squeaked out. They really were in trouble in the 8th and 9th inning. First of all, shout out Kyle Freeland. 7 1/3 was one of the best starts he's had in over a year. It was easily his best start of the year. The Rockies pretty much had 2 of their better. No, not his career. He's had some good ones. I took a no-hitter into the 9th inning one time.
I'm joking.
But no, he had a great start. And then they come in, and it's like the Rockies made it hard on themselves. Jalen Hill comes in, gets into trouble. Senzatela comes in, gets into trouble. It was very fortunate to get a strikeout and then to get a double play ball to end the game. So you're talking about being at a disadvantage against Skeens. And then you're probably not going to have those 2 guys in leverage spots tonight because, Brian, it was very stressful innings for both of them yesterday. So, TB, I don't dislike the Pirates pick. A little more expensive than I would have wanted, but I think that's the right side there. Pirates, Rockies to you, Brian, and tell us what we're looking at for a price on this one.
Yeah, right now you can get you can get Pittsburgh minus 205. That's not a problem. That said, Brandon, do you happen to know what Skeen's numbers are in Colorado as opposed to at home? Because Colorado has the biggest home road dichotomy in Major League Baseball. If he played Colorado at home, I would assume he's got great numbers. I'm just wondering if you happen to know what he's done inside Colorado.
I do not.
Okay.
He only has 8 innings pitched against them. 0 ERA. So
Skeens went to college at Air Force for a while. He knows how to pitch in Colorado, in my opinion.
I can't lay $2 with Pittsburgh with 2 of their best players being out, but I really don't. I agree with Trig. I don't know if I can get there with Colorado either.
Again, guys, spare me. This is not a client play. Ask my clients if they're happy with my plays or not. They're all happy.
TB, no one's saying that you're on like TB. No, I'm agreeing. I think it's Pirates or
no. I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about the flippant comments.
Oh, and this is like the list I just read of guys with expected batting averages higher than 300 that should be like faded into oblivion. Sugano's on that list. So you're getting a play against one of those. You know what might hit here? The total didn't come in yesterday. But like and this Pirates lineup is not very good. Even with the Pirates and their sort of watered down version of their lineup right now, I wouldn't be that surprised if they hit their team total today. I think they probably if they can get a little rally or two going against Sugano, they probably hit their team total. So
anytime you talk about a Colorado pitcher, you got to keep that in mind. Half their games are played at Colorado. This total on this is 10.5. Their normal totals in baseball are about 8.5. So you got to give them a little bit of a leash. Like Freeman, if he had pitched in another city, we wouldn't be looking at him the same way as we are now. I give him a ton of credit for being a steady innings eater in Colorado. He won't be remembered to that because the people just look at his ERA. But there's a reason why Colorado doesn't sign big free agent pitchers. Nobody wants to pitch there. So it's a tough place for a pitcher.
Yeah, listen, TB's going to use Pirates money line in the parlay. And if you don't want to lay $2 with the Pirates, at least I'm thinking that the Pirates team total could be an option here. I do think they find their way over the team total today. I just think they get lesser bullpen arms after Sugano, and they probably get it off. I mean, they very well could get it off Sugano. Wouldn't be, this is the same bad Pirates lineup that just destroyed Aaron Savali the other night. You can destroy Savali, you can hit Tomo Sugano. Bryan, Leonard, coming to you. I already know what I'm going to use for the parlay. We've already talked about it. So I'm going to go to you. What game do you want to look at for your parlay league?
Well, I really wanted to talk about the Boston-Seattle game, but I won't. But I did want to mention for all the men out there that this is the early Hancock matchup. But unfortunately, I have nothing to add other than the joke in that game. There's a lot of games I like, but I don't want to give out any client plays since I've got 3 plays up already. Let's go with Miami and Meyer going against McDonald in San Francisco. We are getting a total of 8. It has been bet up. It opened at 7.5, went over. I'm kind of surprised that it's been bet up. Meyer at home has been outstanding. I believe he's like 8-0-1 or something at home this season. So I'm looking to play Miami, but I also like McDonald here. The total of 8, I kind of like the under here, but I also like Miami. So what I'm going to look at is to play the San Francisco team total under. And that is 3.5 right now. It's 120 and some places to the over. So you can either lay 110 or plus 100 on the San Francisco team total under. And that's what I will look at today. Good overall, a pretty good pitching park, although other than Meyer, they haven't had a lot of success. Alcantara has been pretty good at home, but some of the other guys they've struggled. They are getting one of their guys back in a couple of weeks, so one of their key starters. So I think in the second half of the season, we'll see more unders in Miami than what we've seen before. And I really thought it would have been 7.5. and we're getting 8, and you're only on slight juice, maybe 112 or whatever that. So let me go with the team total under San Francisco here, under the 3.5. One way to look at this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a decent look. One of the things I noticed, because of course I've been very pro Max Meyer this year, Tokyo Brandon, it finally seems like the market's pricing him the way they should. We were getting good numbers on Max Meyer for a while. That it's no secret anymore. He is now getting priced as a favorite, which is where he should be. So I do kind of agree with the way Bryan's looking at this one, trying to sort of get some value in going team total under. Marlins Giants to you. What do you have to add to this one?
Grab a double play. 2 of us 3 days, huge discount. So grab it. Max Meyer 7-0. 2.75 ERA. Hard to argue with those numbers, but we've discussed this in previous shows that your record doesn't mean diddly squat. ERA is not the most telling sign of all. If you look how Max Meyer has performed against these guys, it's not well, actually. Jung-Ho Lee and Luis Arias have gotten to him pretty hard. I think San Francisco can score a little bit today. I'm a Max Meyer fan, by the way. I'm not blaspheming him, but McDonald's been pitching well as well. I have both lineups dead even. I have Miami with a slight bullpen advantage, and I have Max Meyer like 5 or 6 points over McDonald in the overall ranking. So yeah, Miami has a advantage here, a couple of advantages here, but I don't like the head-to-head numbers. If anything, I might take a Jung-Ho Lee hits, runs, RBIs over perhaps. He's 3 for 3 against Max Meyer. He probably can get a hit here, I would imagine, and maybe someone will be on base. I'd probably go that way instead of backing Miami. That's probably my inclination.
I guess because I do like Miami in this matchup. Problem was for me, too expensive for even with Meyer and I'm very high on him. The price point has gotten out of control for me to, I think, play the Marlins. And to the Giants' credit, I still think this team is, they're kind of like the Mets for me, where it's like, I look at the talent on the roster, I look at the team, and I'm just like, this team has to be better than what they've done so far this season. The Giants still fall in that category for me as well. The one thing I'll say in defense of Meyer, most of the numbers from the Giants are in previous seasons. And this season is really the first year where he has figured out how to throw the slider and the sweeper from the same arm slot. They look exactly the same, and they do something different where hitters are just really sort of baffled when they go up and face him. The start that came in San Francisco earlier this year for Meyer, 5 innings, no earned runs, 4 hits. I just don't think that this is the same guy. This was a 1.42 whip guy his entire career. He's down in the 1-1 range, and I think that's where he's going to stay. So I wouldn't look too much at what Meyer did in previous years, because remember, the Marlins sent him back to AAA and were like, we're breaking you down and we're going to fix some of it. I was one of the big critics of that move. Bryan, do you remember they sent him down to AAA? And I was like, why is this dude in AAA? He's too good to be down there. And what the Marlins were saying was, no, we're working on mechanical stuff. And they left him down there for almost the whole year. And I think you are seeing it pay off right now.
I agree. He's been looking very, very good. And the number is going down slightly at some of the sharper books. So we may end up getting our chance to bite a little bit of that apple. But once again, it's very early in the day, and we see how lines move. They move as we're on the show, half a run in total. So lines move all day long.
I'll say that's one where if the Giants took some money, which is not crazy to think, the Giants take money as an underdog, I may play back on that with the Marlins if I get the right price, because I do really like Max Meyer. He's at home. Still think the Marlins are better than the Giants. I just said earlier this week, that I think you should be betting the Marlins at plus 950 to make the playoffs. I still feel strongly about that. Bryan, what was the juice on what was the juice on your team total under, and then give me that Mets plus 1.5 vig as well.
Okay, the team total under was -110, under 3.5, or you could, we'll go -110. You could probably get them at less than that. And what was the other one you're looking for?
I am going to use Mets plus 1.5 in the parlay. We've already broke this game down.
I believe it was 140, but let me take a quick look. Yeah, anywhere from 135 to 140, whatever you'd like to use in there.
Yeah, I saw quite a few -135s. That's where it was earlier. I was hoping it would go in the other direction. There's probably four games that I am somewhat considering that could possibly make my card for a client play today. One of them is Mets plus 1.5. I just want it to come a little bit more into range. We already broke that game down. I'm just higher than the market on this Mets team. And if you're going to give me a chance to grab them on the road where I can get the 1.5 and what I do see as like a somewhat even matchup, I've got to take that. So that is going to be my leg of the parlay. Before I read off the parlay again, all three of us are on fire right now. We all had a great night last night. Bryan, 5% winner. I had a 5% winner. Tokyo Brandon, 3-0 night. We all have plays up on our page, and you can take advantage of the double play package, which is two of the guys that you see on your screen for a low rate. So take advantage of that. And then also, let's hit the parlay today because last night's parlay suffered just a brutal death. The final leg was if you missed it, the final leg was the Angels at plus 140, 11-4 lead. They lost the game 12-11. So we've got to turn around and cash this one today. We are going to go Pirates on the money line, -205. I am going to go. So that's Tokyo Brandon Pirates -205 full game. Bryan is going Giants team total under 3.5. That's a full game team total under. And I'm going to go with the Mets plus 1.5, -135. It's Pirates money line, Mets plus 1.5, Giants team total under 3.5. That's your parlay for today. Hope everyone has a great weekend. We're off tomorrow. We'll see you guys Monday morning, 9 a.m. for more total bases.